always the way, isn't it? Always the damn way with the A-League. Today is such a peak A-League day. Today is such a peak A-League day in how much of a mockery this sport is in this country. Hey guys, how you going? So today on BK Sport, this isn't here for a good video. We're not here to celebrate the success of the Socceroos. We're not here to celebrate, fans back at the game. We're not here to celebrate anything that's actually positive. We're here to continue to shit on this league for making the wrong decision all the time. It's not like they make the wrong decision 50% of the time. They make the wrong decision with every single thing they do. And this is why, look, for example, right? And we're about to get into the reasoning for this. If you haven't known, then probably you're not an A-League fan, because today has been an absolute shambles in our community, and everyone who follows football in this country is very well aware of what's happened. But, things like this is the reason why I left for years. I went away for about 2-3 years because I couldn't cope and deal with the bullshit that was coming from the FFA at the time. Then we got the APL. I can't stand the bullshit. I can't stand this bullshit. You just want to watch the football. You want to enjoy the football, the sport, and then you get dickheads in charge who have no idea what they have. They just don't understand anything about the game or the fans or anything. And this is what pisses me off about sport in general in this country, is that most of the time, no one actually cares about the fans. They don't ask the fans, specifically in the A-League. You know what? Let's explain the situation first. Let's explain the situation first, and then I will get into it. But this is a fiery video today, guys. I'm not going to sit back and just go, circle jerk the A-League. A-League can go screw itself right now. I'm still going to create content for it. I'm still going to, get back into it. But holy shit, this is a bad decision. So let's actually read it. Let's read through it. Obviously, guys, this isn't what our videos are normally like. Usually, we're a lot more happier, or passionate and having fun. But today's not a good day for the A-League in this country. So, lock it in. Sydney to host A-League's grand finals for the next 3 seasons. Right? So, if that doesn't, shit you no end, then I tell you what. So basically, before we go into the article, what this means is that the A-League has decided to take a paycheck to make sure that the grand final of the A-League every single season for the next 3 years, at minimum, is held in Sydney. Right, in Sydney. Now, if you don't know the A-League, the grand final is actually hosted by the highest placed team come grand final week. So if you come first and then you get into the grand final and say you're the Brisbane Roar, like I'm a fan of, then it will be hosted at Suncorp Stadium, right? And it's only fair. That's how it's been done for 16 years. It's worked. It's been great. If Perth make the grand final and they're in second and they play the team in fourth, the grand final's in Perth. In Melbourne, in Wellington, that hasn't happened. But this, however, is taking that away from all the teams, and this is putting it in Sydney regardless. Like what the NRL do with Sydney and what the AFL do with Melbourne, the A-League has decided to take a paycheck to ensure that it's in Sydney every single year. This is not the NRL, this is not the A-League, and we're going to get into that. But let's read on. Sydney will host the Isuzu Ute A-League, Liberty A-League, and E-League Grand Final for the next 3 seasons, beginning in 2023 after a landmark deal was struck between... Shut up with your stupid, buddy. I hate the way they're speaking here. After a landmark deal was struck between the Australian Professional Leagues and Destination New South Wales, the move mirrors that of a major football events around the world in hosting marquee events in a major city and working with it to develop a memorable fan experience for supporters in both Australia and New Zealand over a week-long festival of football. I'm so ticked off right now that I can't even speak English pretty much. But, okay, so let's decipher that for a second. So they're trying to effectively copy what's happening in Europe and what's happening in other countries, like, for example, let's go with Europe, for example, right? Where there is a destination designed at the beginning of the season for where it's going to be, all right? So it's actually incorrect in regards to mirroring it, because they still go to a different place every year. What would make more sense here is if you actually decide, like for example, the Europa League, we know where the final's going to be. It's not in only one place all the time, but it's in a place that we know before the season, right? In the Champions League, it's the exact same thing. Euros, the exact same thing. World Cup, exact same thing. I understand that. I get that. Now, there's 2 things that you have to factor in here. One, that is a different place every single time, right? It's not just, Istanbul every single year. It's not just Wembley every single year. It is different places each year, right? Across the area. So if you wanted to mirror it, A-League, then you would take take it to a different city every year, which would make no sense because I'm about to explain why it makes no sense, because part 2, the game doesn't have enough fans for this. It doesn't have enough supporters for this in this country. Are you really going to expect Western United fans and Wellington fans, if they happen to make the grand final, are you going to expect them to both come together in Sydney to watch the grand final? Is that what you truly are expecting? Because no one in Sydney's going to give an absolute shit about that grand final. No one's going to care about Western United versus Wellington Phoenix. You know, you shouldn't even put Western United in the first place, to be completely honest with you. But the fact of the matter is that, like, what is actually going to happen here? Is you're going to get 5,000 fans for a grand final? It doesn't make any sense here whatsoever. You know, gone are the days of Orange Sunday, when the Brisbane Roar making grand finals and would sell out Suncorp Stadium. Gone are the days when Adelaide sold out Cooper Stadium. You know, like, what is the benefit to coming first anymore? Like, what is the benefit to coming first? You can come first and Sydney can come 6th. And Sydney are going to be the ones to host the grand final and they're going to get the fans there. You know, it really is unbelievable. And then your fans suffer because if they didn't travel to Sydney, like, people are not going to book their flights regardless until their team makes the grand final. So what are you actually differentiating here? I don't understand what you're actually... What changes here on behalf of the fans, because the fans are not going to book their flights and book their accommodation, 6 months in advance if they don't think their team's going to be in the grand final, or even they're going to wait until they win the game to get to the grand final. So there's no point to any of this. There's no point to any of this. I don't get it. Let's continue with it. I really, the more I think about this, the dumber it gets. Really, truly, the more I think about this, the dumber it gets. Starting with the A-League Women Decider on April 30, the E-League on May 27, and the A-League Men Final on June 3. Plus the Dolan and Warren Awards on June 1. The marquee fixtures will be supported by a range of other football-related events. All your events can suck one. The FIFA World Cup 2022 showed that we are a country of football fans, and when they can't even speak English, cool. And when the region's appetite for the FIFA Women's World Cup next year, but fans don't want to wait for 4 years in between competitions to see our best sporting talent perform. What? But fans don't want us to wait for 4 years in between competitions to see our best sporting talent perform. What's that got to do with this? What? Football fans now get the best of both worlds. They can now look forward to a showpiece grand final event in a set location, as well as watching A-Leagues and national team stars week in, week out of their local. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, what are you actually even talking about? Did you ask any fan? Like, don't pretend like this is for the fans. You know, the beauty of the A-League, right? The beauty of football is that we have specific active areas in this game. Ones that were tried to shut down years ago by the FFA, right? We trusted you to improve on that experience, right? We trusted the APL to improve on that experience that we had where the Den and the OSM, the Cove, the RBB, the likes, right? All these places were tried to be shut down by the FFA, the media, and the league in general. And we lost a lot of fans because of it. We all know it. We've all spoken about it. It's going to continue to happen until the game's back to where it was and at least aiming towards being. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the A-League is a game that has fans that you can converse with. You can go and try and grab someone from each supporters group and have their conversation. Have the conversation with them. Whether it be by Zoom or if you can meet up with them in person, it doesn't matter. Point of the matter is that you have the ability to speak to somebody who does represent the fans in a sense, right? Because although active areas aren't everyone, it's still a fan from that club. And if you get one person from the Den and then one person from the Cove and they're saying the same thing and the other saying the same thing and the other saying the same thing, everyone's saying the same thing, then maybe I would understand that the fans, no one wanted this at all. And everyone would have said no. Everyone would have said it's stupid. But the thing is the best part about all this is that no one gives a shit when it comes to the organisation because they don't care what the fans think. They care about the money that doesn't get seen in grassroots. It doesn't get seen in the younger divisions. It doesn't get seen anywhere except for in the pockets of the organisation. Fact. And that's why this is bullshit. It's absolute dog shit. You know, I don't want to be coming out here and shit on the game right now. I'm coming out here, I want to watch the Brisbane Roar. We had a draw against Adelaide, but it was a fun game where we score in the 94th minute or whatever through a penalty. Right? You get back into the game, I'm loving it. Within 3 days within 3 days of the A-League returning after a very successful Socceroos World Cup, we get this dog shit from an organisation who doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks besides the money in their pockets. Like, it's just a straight up fact. It's not even an argument. It's not even an opinion at this point. Go through Instagram. Every single comment hates it. Every single comment on Twitter hates it. Every single article hates it. Every single person hates it. Why? Because it does not make sense to take it away. You are not only changing a tradition in the game, but secondly, you're taking away the benefit of finishing higher than your opposition. You're giving the benefit to Sydney. Again and again and again, we find in every sport, maybe not AFL, but in the country of Australia, everything revolves around Sydney. In every facet of Australian life, it seems that everything is meant to be catered towards Sydney. And even the people from Sydney don't agree with this decision. That's the craziest thing here. That's the craziest thing. Like, they've got the Wanderers, MacArthur, Sydney FC, and you've got people disagreeing with it. Even Newcastle and Mariners, Central Coast, all of these teams are within drivable distance to Sydney to go to the grand final if their team makes it. But all of them are saying, well, this defeats the whole purpose of why we love this game and why the A-League is different to the NRL and the AFL. Because we get to take the grand final to the team that deserves it the most and give them the money for finishing the highest. They get the grand final intake. They're probably going to come out. Like, are they going to give the grand final intake to the? If they're going to give the grand final intake to the team that finished higher, that'd be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, you're going to get 3,000 people there who have actually paid for tickets, not won it through a McDonald's fundraiser. You've got 3,000 people who have turned up, who have flown all the way from Perth to come to this game. You're going to get 2 people. You get 2 people. This game does not have the fans for this. We do not have the support for this. It's not a viable option. This is a unique, I'll quote this, this is a unique opportunity to build a tradition for football fans. We had a tradition, mind you. When you think about a cup final in England, you think about the trip to Wembley, and we want fans in Australia to look forward to the A-League finals in the same way. In England, you can drive from Manchester to Wembley. You can drive the distance. England is a small country. It is a small country when it comes to geographically speaking. Wellington, they can't drive. Brisbane is like a 13-hour drive? Or like a 9-10 hour drive? Gold Coast is I'm pretty certain about a 10-hour drive, so I would say it's 11 hours or so from Brisbane driving. God help Adelaide fans, and God help Perth fans. What on earth are you doing comparing to Wembley? One, their entire country follows that sport. They've got, effectively hundreds to thousands of football teams in their country, right? They live and die for football. You have no idea that we are not even close to being comparatively in the size of that sport over there in England. What are you doing comparing to Wembley? Is this really a thought process that someone who thinks that they're intelligent and is a professional came up with? Get out of here, you idiot, man. You idiot. We have already broken the previous record for attendance this season in the Liberty A-League Women, and have a clear objective to make history again with the grand final attendance in the year that we host the FIFA Women's World Cup. We are working with transport and accommodation providers to develop special packages for travelling fans, including our official hotel partner ISG, who have committed to offer a special discounted rate for travelling fans. Oh, okay, you're going to take $50 away from it, are you? Cool, thank you. Like, I could have stayed at home and watched it, gone to the game. If I'm in Brisbane, I could have just, gone to the game there. But thank you very much for your $50 discount to a hotel. Are you going to provide discounts with the airport as well, as in for the flights? Are you going to provide discount for the Uber and transportation that I need? Are you going to provide discounts for the food and for the drink? Are you going to provide discounts for the actual game day activities as well? No, you're going to still charge people like $10, $15 for a beer, aren't you? You're still going to charge people like $8, $9 for bloody some chips and $7 for a bottle of water. No. So that's nice that you get a $50 discount on the hotel or whatever. But everything else is still going to cost an absolute arm and a leg. I might have to sell my organ. I may have to sell a left kidney, or I may have to, I don't know what I have to sell, but I'm going to sell something. I may have to sell my left nut at this point to go to the grand final in Sydney. You know, and the thing is, I'm different. I'm talking on behalf of a lot of people here who have a lot of family members. You know, they've got, say, 3, 4 children, a wife, and they want to go to the game. They want to take their family to the game, watch their team. They want to watch Adelaide United go and win the grand final, Cooper Stadium. You know, they want to watch their team in their own hometown win the grand final. Can't happen anymore. Victory can't win it anymore in Melbourne. Wellington can't win it in New Zealand. That is outrageous if New Zealand get to the highest in the finals and they don't get to host it, and Sydney hosts it. That would be absolutely outrageous. The move will also see, here we go, this is the kicker right here. The move will also see significant benefits for New South Wales. Oh, will it now? Thank you. With millions pumped into the economy as a result of adding the A-League Grand Finals to Sydney's annual sporting events calendar. Wow. Well, at least we're thinking about Sydney's economy. We're not thinking about Adelaide's economy or Brisbane's economy or Melbourne's economy or Perth's economy or Wellington's economy. No, we only care about Sydney's economy. They get the NRL Grand Final. They get State of Origins. They get pretty much whenever a big team overseas comes, they're more than likely going to be going to Sydney. You know, big events go to Sydney. How about we think about somebody else besides Sydney? Right? It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. There is a world outside of Sydney. It's crazy that New South Wales is going to benefit financially. Thank you very much. Oh, that makes us feel better now. You know, I don't have a problem with New South Wales or Sydney. I've lived there in the past. You know, a big part of the game. They have great teams there with great history. Sydney FC and Wanderers. Right, MacArthur, settle down. Newcastle and Mariners are New South Wales, but the fact of the matter is they're close enough and they've got a good enough history, right? Mariners that go back quite a while with their history, though. Outrageous, man. It really is. I'm not going to read the rest of it because I don't want to hear his nonsense. I think what needs to be done here, guys, is people need to make their voices heard like they have been. I think everyone needs to come out and say something about this. Pretty much everyone is. Right, like I said, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, people are coming out about this. I have a platform where I can provide an opinion. I'm coming out about this. I know that other people like Jas will come out about it and other A-League content creators. I don't know how many there are, but there will be other creators out there who should come out about this. And if you don't do it, then you're weak. You're weak. You're weak and catering to something that nobody wants to see. The fact that even people in Sydney disagree with this proves to you how stupid this is. How stupid it is. But guys, I appreciate you as usual. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button if you agree. I would really appreciate it, especially with a video like this. If you agree, hit that thumbs up button. Comment below your thoughts. I want to see as many comments as I can with your thoughts about this issue in regards to moving the A-League to Sydney permanently rather than to the team that is highest in the finals. Obviously, subscribe if you are new around here. We'll be streaming the Brisbane Roar game this week. Plus, we'll probably stream another game at some point. We've got some BBL that's going to be cracking on. So it's frustrating, man, because we've been back for 3 days. We've been back for 3 days with the A-League, and we're already dealing with this dog shit. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.